After studying this module, you shall be able to understand illusion, explain the differences between illusion and hallucinations, describe different types of illusions, and discuss subliminal perception. Illusions have been a fascinating topic for most people. A lot of research studies, scientific studies, have taken place, and it dates back to the very beginning of the 19th century. It was during this phase that scientists got engrossed in understanding perception. Therefore, since there has been an enduring interest and illusions have been used as tools in the study of perception. A lot of theories have been formulated ever since for explaining what illusions are. Illusions are generally misleading perceptions of any visual image. A person who sees something contradictory to what others see is termed to have illusion. This consists of seeing shapes, lengths, and directions in a wrong way. Let us now try and understand illusions with its types and also discuss the role of subliminal perception in this module. Illusions. An illusion refers to unique perceptual experiences in which information is received from the real external stimuli. This information further leads to an incorrect perception or a false impression, leading to stimulation from the object or events. It is a constant error in visual perception, therefore it is wrong or false perception. When an illusion is witnessed, our perception does not correspond to what is actually out there or that exists in the real world. Illusions generally fool an individual. A child may perceive a tree branch at night to be a monster, which may be said to be an illusion. It also becomes important to clearly identify or distinguish between illusions and hallucinations, as they tend to create a lot of confusion. An illusion is an experience that seems to originate without an external source of stimulation. Hallucination, on the other hand, is perception of objects which are not present at all. The vision of an oasis at a distance in a desert is a hallucination. Some people see ghosts in the dark. So, if we look at the difference between illusion and hallucination, illusion is a kind of a false or wrong perception. It consists of an external stimuli. It is almost common and is generally universal. Normal persons can also have illusions, and similar situations produce the same type of illusion in most people. But if we are talking about hallucinations, then a hallucination is generally referred to a false perception. It is caused by internal stimulation. No external stimulus is present, but still people tend to have hallucinations. And hallucination is basically related to one's personal experiences, and they are limited to mentally ill persons. Similar situations may not arise hallucinations in all. Individual differences play a role with regard to hallucination. It is also seen that some individuals may experience different hallucinations on different occasions also. Let's come back to causes of illusion. Let us now try to understand the different causes of illusions that are present. The first one may be called similarity. Similarity refers that if two objects are similar in appearance, then the illusion may occur more easily than others. For example, it is natural to mistake a curled rope for a snake. The second cause of illusion is expectancy. Suppose you are waiting for your friend, then every other individual at a distance will be mistaken as your friend. Another example would be that while searching for your lost jewelry, all other glittering objects will be mistaken for the one you are searching for. The third type of cause of illusion would be subjective factor. Sometimes habits and familiarity can cause illusions. For example, cross two fingers and touch a marble with the crossed path of both the figure, you see to feel two marbles. Now let us move on to types of illusion. First, let's discuss in detail what is meant by optical illusion. An optical illusion is characterized by visually perceived images that are deceptive or misleading. Therefore, the information gathered by the eye is processed by the brain to give on the face of it a percept that does not tally with the physical measurement of the stimulus source. A conventional assumption is that there are physiological illusions that occur naturally and cognitive illusions that can be demonstrated by specific visual tricks that say something more basic about how human perceptual system works. Let's move on to the next type of illusion, which is the auditory illusion. An auditory illusion is an illusion of hearing. The sound equivalent of an optical illusion, that is, the listener hears either sounds which are not present in the stimulus or impossible sounds. In short, audio illusions highlight areas where the human ear and brain, as organic, makeshift tools, differ from perfect audio receptors, for better or for worse. One example of an auditory illusion is a Shepard tone. Next, we move on to tactile illusions. Examples of tactile illusions include phantom limb, the thermal grill illusion, the cutaneous rabbit illusion, and a curious illusion that occurs when the cross index and middle fingers are run along the bridge of the nose with one finger on each side, resulting in the perception of two separate noses. Interestingly, the brain area activated during illusionary tactile perception are similar to those activated during actual tactile stimulation. Tactile illusions can be elicited through haptic technology. These illusionary tactile objects can be used to create virtual objects. The first type of illusion is Ponzo illusion. That is, when you look at a distance, objects seems to appear closer together as they become farther away from you. For example, the outside borders of a railroad appear to converge as the distance between them is increased. The Ponzo illusion involves placing two lines over an illustration of a railroad track. Which line appears to be longer? In reality, they are exactly of the same length. It has not increased the length in any way. Zollner's illusion. The second type of illusion is the Zollner's illusion, which explains that sometimes the background of an image can interfere with how your brain interprets the image itself. This is one illusion type that can actually make a viewer start to feel uneasy if they stare at it for too long. Muller-Lyer illusion. It was first discovered in 1889, where the illusion has become the subject of considerable interest and different theories have emerged to explain the phenomena differently. You can have a look at this image. You see lines parallel to each other, but which line appears longer? For majority of people, the line with the fins of the arrow that are protruding outward appear to be longest, while the line with the arrow fins pointing towards inside appear shorter. The reality is that the shafts of both the lines are exactly of the same length. Therefore, there is no difference. So how does it work? An explanation regarding this was proposed by R.H. Taine. He suggested that the Muller-Lyer illusion occurs because of conflicting cues. It is our ability to perceive the length of the lines that usually depend upon the actual length of the line and the overall length of the figure. Therefore, the total length of one figure is longer than the length of the lines themselves. Thus, it causes the line with the outward facing fins to seem longer. Let us now move on to the moon illusion. A moon illusion is an optical illusion in which the moon appears larger near the horizon than it does when higher up in the sky. Let us consider an example to understand it in a much better way. At night, if you gaze up at the sky, you would probably practice the moon illusion. Why does it happen that the moon looks bigger on the horizon than it does higher up in the sky? Many theorists have come up with different explanations. Few of the common theories for explaining such illusions are discussed. Apparent distance theory. According to this possible explanation for the moon illusion, depth perception plays an important role in how we perceive the moon when it is at the horizon against high in the sky. This theory is centered on the thought that when you view the moon at the horizon, you are seeing it in the occurrence of depth cues such as trees, mountains and other scenery. But when the moon has moved higher up to the sky, those depth cues that were present tend to disappear. Because of this, the apparent distance theory suggests that we tend to perceive the moon as farther away on the horizon than we see it when it is prominent in the sky. The angular size contrast theory explains it focuses instead on the visual angle of the moon in comparison to surrounding objects. It has been seen that when the moon is on the horizon and further surrounded by small objects, it appears to be larger. At its peak, the moon appears much smaller because it is surrounded by the large expanse of the sky. While these are just two of the most prominent theories, there have been many different explanations proposed over the years and no true consensus exists. Part of the reason is that there are different factors that appear to influence the occurrence of this optical phenomena, including color. When the moon appears to be red in color due to smoke or dust in the air, it appears larger. The other explanation can be atmospheric perspective. When weather is hazy or smoky outside, the moon appears larger on the horizon. Now about these visual factors. Convergence of the eyes when viewing things on the horizon also cause objects to appear larger. As with other visual phenomena, the possibility is that no particular variable can effectively explain the moon illusion. Instead, it is possible that many different factors might play a role. Next, let's move on to subliminal perception. The word subliminal explains the phenomena of responding to stimuli below the threshold of awareness. It suggests that it occurs for all the sense modalities and used to describe situations that consist of weak stimuli. In recent years, the term is used more generally to describe many situations in which unnoticed stimuli are perceived. The notion of subliminal perception is of course of interest because it proposes that people's thoughts, feelings and actions are influenced by stimuli that are perceived without any awareness of perceiving them. A considerable amount of studies were conducted in this area for better understanding of perception. Studies showed that information capable of forming decisions and guiding actions are perceived even when observers do not experience any awareness of perceiving. In these studies, participants were asked whether or not they are aware of perceiving things around them. To explain this, they took some visual stimuli such as letters, digits, or geometric figures, which were presented from a distance that observers can claim either not to see anything at all or just blurred dots. In the same manner, auditory stimuli such as the names of some letters also whispered so softly that participants claim that they were unable to hear any sound around them. To further test the awareness of the observers towards the visual and auditory stimuli, they were asked to make guesses regarding what kind of stimuli are presented to them. Consistent results were found in which it was seen that observers' guess regarding the stimuli, they were more accurate than would be expected on the basis of chance guessing. Therefore, despite the observer's statement indicating that they were aware of perceiving stimuli, their guesses indicate that they did perceive sufficient information to make accurate guesses regarding the stimuli. To summarize it, these studies show that considerable amount of information is perceived even when observers do not experience any awareness of perceiving. Let us look at the applications of subliminal perception. Patients with neurological damage. Understanding of subliminal perception can be found in the studies of patients with neurological damage. It is often referred to as neurological syndrome, in which the patients claim not to see particular stimuli, nevertheless respond on the basis of information conveyed by these stimuli. One of the reasons could be a syndrome called blind sight. Patients who are suffering with this syndrome have damage to their primal visual cortex. As a result of this damage, they are often ignorant of perceiving stimuli within a restricted area of their visual field. Let us take an example to understand it much better. If the visual field is thought of as consisting of 4 quadrants, a patient who has a blind sight may have normal vision for stimuli presented in 3 of the quadrants, but he completely remains unaware of stimuli presented in the 4th quadrant. However, even though these patients claim not to see stimuli located within the blind quadrant, they are still able to guess the size, shape of the stimuli that they claim not to see. Blind sight is one of the neurological syndromes. Another form of subliminal perception is called face agnosia. Patients with this syndrome are unable to recognize familiar faces. In this, patients are aware that they are looking at a person's face. They are unable to say who the person may be. Thus, they are not aware of perceiving any information regarding those faces that they might be viewing. However, despite this absence of awareness, some patients with face agnosia are able to choose which of the 2 names goes with each familiar face that they claim not to be able to recognize. Advertising. It has been seen that subliminal perception can induce changes in the way people feel and act. It is so widespread that a number of companies have acted upon it to exploit this belief by marketing subliminal self-help audio and video tapes. The companies that use these tapes in the market claim that if they are used regularly, one can cure a variety of problems and aid in the development of many skills. Each company has a different strategy for playing the tapes. What distinguishes these tapes from one another are the embedded subliminal messages that can neither be consciously seen or heard. The examples of some of the most popular tapes are claimed to help individuals stop smoking, lose weight, or reduce stress. There are other tapes also that can help people increase their reading speed, improve memory, or even help them develop their skills at tennis or football. Well, now let's quickly summarize what we have already studied in this module. An illusion refers to unique perceptual experiences in which information are received from the real external stimuli. There are different causes of illusions, namely similarity, expectancy, and subjective factors. Illusions are categorized into different types that are Ponzo, Zollner, Müller-Lyer illusion, and moon illusion. The first type of illusion is the Ponzo illusion. That is, when you look at a distance, objects seems to appear closer together as they become farther away from you. The second type of illusion is the Zollner illusion, which explains that sometimes the background of an image can interfere with how your brain interprets the image itself. The Müller-Lyer illusion occurs because of conflicting cues. It is our ability to perceive the length of lines that usually depend upon the actual length of line and the overall length of the figure. A moon illusion is an optical illusion in which the moon appears larger near the horizon than it does while higher up in the sky. The word subliminal explains the phenomena of responding to stimuli below the threshold of awareness. It suggests that it occurs for all the sense modalities and used to describe situations that consist of weak stimuli. Application of subliminal perception is seen in the area of advertising and in the patients who have neurological damage.